Hello Gemini, this is Victoria and I'm here with your March tarot forecast. As always, we'll be looking at your love life and personal space, at your career and workspace, and we'll get you guidance on how to best navigate the energy of the months of March. At the end, I'll post some messages from a person of interest to yourself, so make sure you stick around till the end. And we will begin with a quick oracle message, so I'll start shuffling right away and we'll get started. Remember that these readings are for Sun, Moon, and Rising Gemini. So if you're watching this for a Sun sign, please remember to check out videos for other placements too. And of course, if you enjoy the reading, please don't forget to hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. All right. So that said, your message for the month of March is the wandering path. Enjoy the journey. Yeah, it is about the journey, not always the destination. And I would just add, I'm immediately hearing destination is also important, right? We're not dismissing it. We're not saying we're just playing in a sandbox here. No, it is important, but don't delay the feeling of joy, the enjoyment of it all, the feeling of wonder as well with the O. Just because you're not at your destination yet. Start, get yourself into that state, into that vibration. Like you're already celebrating, you're already seeing the success, the meaning, the beauty of it all, of this experience, even if you're not exactly where you want to be yet, right? That's a skill of its own, to be able to enjoy parts of the journey that may not necessarily be as attractive as what we want to see at the end of this or on the other side of this. All right, let's see what we have for you with tarot. That is an adorable ace, cat named Ace that I'm hanging out with right now. And that's the reason my t-shirt is like that. He makes sure that I'm well covered with hair. There's a nice layer. Thank goodness that the camera is taking away some of it at least. Whew. All right. So for your personal space and love life, we're starting with the Knight of Wands. Nice. Nine of Cups. By the way, we are in Mercury retrograde till March 20th, so that will definitely impact certain communications and possibly travel plans. Six of Wands. Then for your career space, we have Ace of Wands. Ooh, we have the Devil. Seductive Devil in this deck. And we have Eight of Wands. And then finally, the advice, we have the World, the Hermit. Look at all the major arcanas. By the way, the Devil card was Capricorn. You can be dealing with a Capricorn. And now we have the World, which is also Capricorn, and the Hermit, which is Virgo. And finally, the Ten of Wands. Alrighty, bottom of the deck, Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, so you may have felt like you've been making a slow progress wherever it is that you're focused on, what kind of goals you have in front of you or ahead of you. But the truth is that's that part where you're supposed to savor the journey. And you are following a specific route because you can get to the same destination via different routes, right? Using that metaphor. And you're taking this one in particular and going through certain experiences, events, meeting people for a reason. They are just as important. So don't dismiss it and be more curious and more observant on what is happening with you and how do you feel about it, right? What comes up for you? In your personal space, I definitely see there's a lot of enthusiasm and excitement, or at least there will be a reason for it very soon. The Knight of Wands a very passionate energy, and especially in this deck, to me, it's very much it's that sacred chakra energy, but the creative aspect of it, right? Where you tap into that well of creativity and it's calling you, right? It needs to come out. And so you're starting to figure out who I am, what is my creative expression, what am I trying to tell the world, what do I enjoy doing myself, like what is my craft, what brings me fun, and then, you know, what can you share with others. Six of Wands is more of a spotlight of like, okay, you've done some homework and you've done that creative research for yourself or within yourself, right? And now you're ready to share it. Maybe this is something, for some of you, this is something that you've already done, you've been doing for a while, and now you're ready to share, baby. That's your sign that you're ready, right? It doesn't have to be literally a stage, but whichever way you can, you know, share with the world what is it that you've learned, or again, your art, your creative expression, it's time to do that. You are ready for it, and the world will be a better place for it. I don't really see here much about the relationship, I'll be honest with you, but the more you are giving energy and focus to that creative expression, the more authentic you're going to be in your connection with other people, including your love interest. If you know, whether you're already with someone or someone is going to come in, right, they will see you better, right? Like the quote unquote, like they will see the real you, right? And this will, if anything, deepen the bond. If we're talking about meeting new people, it will ensure that you're meeting people who are more aligned with you and where you are right now. For our career space, we have Ace of Swords, the Devil, and Eight of Wands. Very different energies, but what I'm sensing here is you may want to take action and move forward and prove yourself, even, I'm hearing for some of you. But that is the ego talking, or the social convention talking. And what in reality is important right now is to focus on discovering the truth, is to focus on finding that voice. You know, what is it that, why am I even here? For workspace, for career, for business, a lot of times we're missing in that important piece of the puzzle to understand what our motivation is, truly, honestly, right? What motivates us naturally? Why did we decide to start this project, business, career in the first place, right? It's important to answer those questions. It may seem boring on the surface, but that will allow you, once you get those answers, you get that information in, it will allow you to move truly in the direction that you resonate with, that makes sense to you, that will keep it exciting for you, and not just for the sake of, you know, appearances and what other people are going to say, or, you know, what you expect to gain as a result of doing that project or working with that partner or starting a certain business. And finally, the advice. This is cycles ending, really. This is the time when, and we do have that cycle change actually in March, because we have some spring equinox, and with that also comes the beginning of a new zodiacal cycle, right? The wheel restarts with the Aries season beginning towards end of March, right? So it's also, March could become the time of summarizing what's been happening, understanding where your loyalties are, personally, professionally, whatever resonates for you right now as I'm saying this, right? It's also finding your inner fire, your guiding path, your compass, right, internally. What are those principles? What are non-negotiables? How do you listen to that intuitive feeling rather than just approaching the situation with logic and knowledge, right? Sometimes it's a challenge for air signs, because air signs tend to go into that air space with the logic, with overthinking, right? And the trick is to move away from it. Both of these cards are earth energy, by the way. There's a little bit of fire here, right? But it's like you need to ground that energy and live more in that field around you, right? Tap into it, see what happens, so that you don't have to continue. Because if you keep overthinking and just maybe suppressing some of those thoughts because they are unpermissible, because they're heavy. You're like, okay, I don't have to, I don't want to deal with this right now, right? But they stay with you. They still, you keep carrying with them with you as a baggage, right? And as you go along, it gets heavier and heavier. And at some point, like this girl actually is probably going down the mountain, but imagine she's about to go up, right? At some point, she'll need to decide what is she gonna keep and what is she gonna leave behind. And it may be more difficult to do with the emotional baggage, to be honest with you, because in a lot of cases we're unaware of it, or we're unaware of where it's coming from, right? So it's not as easy to just drop it, to just decide. It doesn't work that way. You can't just logically or consciously make that decision, right? You need to sit with it, to be present, to honor those emotions, those feelings. Last but not least, let's get Gemini a message from their person of interest. What does Gemini need to know from their person? Right, got something, 3 cards. 6 of Swords, the Hanged Man, and the Ace of Swords. So yeah, I don't know if your person's also an air sign, but definitely have a lot of air going on here too. What I like, this is the After Tarot deck. What I like with this 6 of Swords is that there's definitely a couple here. There's a child too, and this person is helping them get to safety, get to balance. And I feel like a person definitely, this was the main card because this was the first card. Your person definitely wants to create that feeling of safety for you and, for the both of you, if you have kids, for your entire family, right? They want you to have that, to feel safe and to feel like you're in a safety harbor when you are at home with them, right? But what it means, of course, could differ for you and for them. So it's a little bit of be careful what you're wishing for, but some of the stuff that they do to make it happen might actually backfire on your side. And you'll be like, why would you even do that? Why did you think that I would like this, right? But maybe that's also a sign. I mean, remember about Mercury retrograde still in play. So sometimes we can get mixed signals or misinterpret what the other person is doing. And secondly, just look at it from the other point of view, right? Or just know that there's more than one way to organize things or to create a lifestyle, right? And it doesn't mean that if you don't agree with it that it's bad, right? And that could be actually a reason if your person is doing something differently from what you would expect or your definition of comfortable or happy or joyful, right? That's that point of conversation, to discover more about each other, and to find that common truth, if anything, right? That will speak to both of you, that reality, that agreement, whether it's about communication in your relationship or it's about your home situation or the way you want to build your partnership. Your person definitely wants to build something together and they want you to thrive because they would be able to create that safe and protected layer and baseline for you. But it's up to you to also communicate what it is for you in a compassionate way that you can find common ground together. Okay, I hope this was useful for you guys. I'm gonna leave it here. Thank you so much for joining today. And please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. And until next time.